Welcome to another episode of Sidelines. This has been a week kind of waiting on. Couldn't do it the other week. Things got really hectic at work. But what I would say, though, it was not really a week to miss out on for football things, whether from college football playoffs to the NFL and the Miami Dolphins. In the Tua saga, being benched third emergency quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Now Quinn Ewers, the rookie 7th-round draft choice from Old Texas. The only time you've ever seen me put the hook on him up. Really looked like horns down Sunday against the Bengals. So we're going to talk a little about that. College football playoffs, obviously Miami getting into Aggieland and getting out with a win. Anything better than that? We'll talk about that. And also the revenge of the Cotton Bowl. We'll be talking and discussing right now. So welcome to another episode of Sidelines. I'm, of course, Brandon Hernandez, your host. And to get started with today, we got to jump into the college football playoffs. But before we even talk about Miami and Texas A&M, just a real quick rehash of what we saw over that of Friday and Saturday of last weekend. Starting off Friday, the Oklahoma Sooners and John Mateer, who looked like John Mateer the first 4 weeks, Heisman candidate, got injured on his hand, had to do surgery, came back midway of the season in the biggest Red River rivalry game against the Longhorns, got demolished in that one. Oklahoma slowly got back in the top 10 after their win on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama Crimson Tide. People thought it was going to be the same thing. The Oklahoma was going to be the better team, the better offense. John Mateer looked to be back in shape, good receiving core. That's what people were talking about. And that's what it looked like through the entire first half in the first round of the college football playoffs between the Sooners and Alabama. Now, again, reminder, the Sooners have been into multiple appearances of the college football playoffs, but have not won a single game in the program's history of the college football playoffs. This, if you want to say new format, 12-team, 4-team, whatever it may be, this is kind of new for a lot of Sooner fans and a lot of programs around. There's a lot of first appearances for college football playoffs for a lot of teams out there. Of course, Miami being one of them. But for the Sooners, this was, something they've been through. Looked like they were going to get a win, up 17-0. And then Alabama and Ty Simpson running it down against the Sooners defense. We're talking about a 5 minutes, 17 unanswered points the Sooners did give up in the second quarter, I think. Alone in the first half, it was ridiculous. And that led to a loss, 34-24. The Sooners, as close as they can get, basically down to last drive, missed field goal. They couldn't really get it done. And now you have Kellen DeBoer, who a lot of people said was going to go over to Michigan, potentially in a top position yet again, a top name for the Michigan job in the Big Ten. Now more likely he stays in the SEC with Alabama, which I think is probably the biggest thing that I take away from a lot of it, that you have basically the Alabama Crimson Tide team who is on a roll. And yeah, sure, it's not 2 lost seasons anymore. It's not like, 3 losses, whatever, Nick Saban. I get the whole thing, but give the guy some credit when it's due. A lot of people don't talk about, Kellen DeBoer and Alabama, they're not the same. Or they can't win another SEC championship. They're on their way to that. Of course, the Georgia Bulldogs are going to be, that team to beat. And that's going to be a team that's going to be waiting on later on the first round of the playoffs for, we'll talk about in the future reference, the Ole Miss Tulane game. But just even talk about the Sooners, very likely, I would say John Mateer returns for one more year. He could be an NFL quarterback. I think if he went right now, maybe 5th, 4th round, maybe that's being too nice. Way too nice, maybe. But for Coach Vrabel's in Oklahoma, this is a case of you put your foot in the door in the SEC, and in my opinion, you're doing a little bit more better than Texas, right? Texas obviously went all the way down to the quarterfinals in the college football playoff last year, losing to Ohio State, and really what felt like a championship game for a lot of people. And then, they're not even there this case around. And you have the Sooners in the playoffs again. Coach Vrabel getting his recruiting battles on. He's winning it out there in the SEC. Not a lot of people expected that. So I think Oklahoma will be much better next year, especially with John Mateer fully healthy off the hands, get things rolling. But now Kellen DeBoer will go to the Rose Bowl to face Indiana and Mendoza. And again, Mendoza, Heisman winner, Maxwell winner, O'Brien winner, overall Columbus kid, Miami kid, the first ever Cuban American to win a Heisman Trophy. He will be leading an Indiana team in the Rose Bowl. And I just love the fact that the Rose Bowl, you got the helmets with a rose down the middle. Every single bowl game is trying to copy that now, which I love. There should be a specific helmet, like get the lids ready to go, right? Get the guys ready to go. Get them amped when they see that uniform or the Pop-Tart bowl with the sprinkles on it. That's why I feel kind of bad about Notre Dame fans, because you're missing out on that. You know what I mean? Imagine a golded Pop-Tart for sponsorship just for this bowl game. You know what I mean? For the Pop-Tart board. Now BYU's doing that, and Georgia Tech's doing that with their little gold, little white. And that's what we need in college football. A little craziness for around bowl season. Like, I know it's a little bit off topic too, but the Xbox Bowl, Arkansas State versus, I believe it was Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken, in the first ever Xbox Bowl, Arkansas State wins it. The Red Wolves have Master Chief giving the Xbox Award, which has a literal console, like a usable console in the middle of it. And again, I'm not like more PlayStation guy, so I don't know all like the gimmicks and all that stuff at Xbox. But I see Master Chief giving it an award in Frisco, Texas. That's what bowl season should be about. We'll go more into that. Probably the next episode, we'll talk about that, because we'll have a few bowl games going on. Like, I know the FIU Panthers, funny enough, are going to be playing in their bowl game in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. So might discuss about that after Christmas. Speaking of which, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays for a lot of those who are listening and watching. But yeah, so leaving the Bama, Oklahoma stuff, again, they will be going on to the Rose Bowl, facing on against Indiana. The Canes game, which of course a lot of people have discussed about going into that week. A lot of people discussed about basically once the bracket was solidified where the Canes were able to sneak into the playoffs. And I say sneak because it really was like they went from number 2 in the nation all the way to number 18 in the nation. They slowly started getting into the conversation with the committee, being like, hey, we need a head-to-head on Notre Dame. Hey, BYU's in the middle of that. So Canes able to get in. Things started to turn around for the Hurricanes. But this game, people talked about how loud the 12th man is. People talk about, the press box. And this is real because I've seen video of things like that on social media. The press box swaying like it was in the wind when they had the 12th man empowered by Kanye West rolling in. But then the Canes started rolling in defensively throughout the entire game, especially in that first half. One thing I always like to mention, Ruben Bain, his story. Miami kid has been on the program, 3-4 years now. Mark Fletcher, another kid who's been with the program multiple years as well. All Miami kids, all guys who are basically built for this program. Or if you're a Hurricane fan of old, you have to go recruit in your backyard. We got to go home to get players home, And that's what I really thought about a lot of the players that were outliers in this game. Ruben Bain blocking a field goal 20-some yards away. And probably the only field that was even on target the entire first half. There was 4 missed field goals throughout the entire first half. And a lot of it, people would be like, oh, the kicker is just terrible. Look at Mike Elko might as well bring it back up. Oh, and now Davis from Western High School and this, FAU transfer. What is this now in Aggieland? He's missing 40-yarders. And, well, the wind gust was 30 miles an hour. It was hard to even stand with paper in your hands. If you stood still with napkins, the thing would have probably got to the second deck. That's how windy it was in College Station that day. And the first half 0-0, a lot of people looked at it and was like, well, no matter who wins this game, no one's going to go on and beat Ohio State or compete against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. And that's a little teaser right there, what the defense of both of these teams are, and especially for the Hurricanes. Both of these defenses had to figure out how to win the game. And at the end of the day, Hurricanes figured out. Bryce Fitzgerald, freshman, again, another kid from Columbus, another kid from South Florida, 2 interceptions in this one. One of them put the Canes in good field position. Canes able to go down the field, able to get a field goal, 3-0 through 3 quarters of play. Malachi Tony, a lot of people saying baby Jesus fumbling in the middle of the field, something that happened, I believe, in a state title game, if I got the story right. It was a state title game. Mark Fletcher was teammates with Malachi Tony. I believe this was Central or something like that. I could be wrong about the teams. I apologize. But all you need to know is Same situation, different place, different game, higher stakes. So Tony fumbles it. The defense does their job, gets a stop. They punt it back. Canes on a drive to potentially win this game. And the one thing I mentioned, Malachi Tony was on a high school fumbling it. Mark Fletcher was on that team. Mark Fletcher, after the game, post game, that I was in Malachi's ear telling him, hey, this isn't the first time and this won't be the last time. Get us a touchdown. Malachi Tony gets the touchdown on a jet sweep, 11 yards. Canes on the other end on defense, 5 yards away. Win the game with a Bryce Fitzgerald interception in the end zone, freshman to freshman on both sides. And speaking of which, because we do have Jonka Don't Stop joining us here. Perfect timing, I have to say. So, Jonka, the Canes, obviously, I said previously, winning it. The storylines behind this, guys who are from Miami and from the ties of high school to now, Mark Fletcher, one of the biggest pieces of that one. He actually had a big run. I think it was like 50-some yards just in that position for the Malachi touchdown. I want your thoughts on this, though, man, because the team gutting it out to win it in the Hurricanes, 10-3 in Aggie Land, now going on the Cotton Bowl for Ohio State. Do you think that game makes you more confident in Miami as they move into the playoffs? Or do you think it's like there's a little concern here? There's something to worry about here.
First of all, I was on my phone in the kitchen watching the show, and then I heard your take about how Miami are going to lose this game no matter what. And I had to get on the show because I'm not going to take no disrespect. I will say, though, everybody that was talking crap about Miami only scoring 10 points on Texas A&M, let me remind everybody watching that Ohio State scored only 10 points against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Just to put that out there. So don't come at Miami for only scoring 10 points. Now, I was telling this with Daniel and Blake yesterday on the show that I think if Miami is going to win this game against the Buckeyes, the defense is going to have to be on point. And I do think the corner that didn't play on Saturday, Damari Brown, I heard he's questionable, but more favorable questionable to play.
Yes.
If he comes back, that's another starter, by the way. That's a starter for the Canes. If he comes back, you have an extra guy who has started for multiple seasons already to put on Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate. Brandon Innes, I'm not threatened by you. I'm sorry. If you hear this, I'm not threatened by you. I'm only threatened by those two guys. How good we did against Carver and Casey Concepcion, I think we have a good chance of holding the offense to a low-scoring game again. Now, the only question I have with my team is the offense. Can Carson Beck have a passing game? This Ohio State passing defense is really good. Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, those are like top 3 players that they're going to be in the draft. I'll tell you that much. Now on the flip side, though, Brandon, this is the thing.
Yeah,
I was telling this to Daniel, though. I think Miami has a better offensive line and defensive line than Ohio State does this year, not last year, but this year.
And again, I would also say very true. Very true. We're talking about All-Americans across the O-line. The D-line has Sunday players, not Saturday players. Sunday players.
And I don't know if you know, but the starting right tackle for Ohio State is out for that game against Miami. They'll be putting in 2 freshmen, if I'm correct. So that's a matchup, a really good matchup for Mesidor and Ruben Bain. They can take abuse of that. And I think Julian Saint is a better quarterback than Marcel Reed, but they also have the same trait where if you can get pressure on them, they could put the ball in harm's way, which we did see in the Indiana game. I think Miami has a chance. I mean, with the momentum that Fitzgerald had, I'm telling you right now, Brandon, this game is gonna be electric, pure cinema. I saw a tweet from Jeremiah Smith with a purple demon emoji. I don't
Oh,
know what that means, but I think this game is gonna be incredibly great. And plus, it's on a neutral field in AT&T Stadium. Michael Irving might have a stroke.
Michael Irving might be down there with Jimmy Johnson, like on all fours, you know. And also, that's another thing too, because like I don't know if it's like a main thing the past few years with Michael Irvin, but his access to the program is insane. This man is kitchen crystal ball on the cheek, like all fours with Malachi Tony. Like I'm worried. You know what I mean? This might be the 1990s Michael Irvin coming out. You know what I mean? Straight intensity. I love to see it though. I love to see because when after the Fitzgerald interception, where like all the players went on the field, obnoxious, a little flap and all that, and then what is it? Torrey, the guy that got hurt, the play previously, he comes out with the medical staff holding him back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Miami of old, man. That's what we want to see. Like I love that.
If they can bring that energy and really give that really tough defense against Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Julian Saint, obviously.
Of course.
I think Miami has a shot. I don't know why people say they don't have a shot. Like, we just saw Indiana's defense beat Ohio State to 10 points. You could make an argument that Miami's defense is either just as good or better than Indiana's. Now, I won't say that our offense is not as good as Indiana's. I will say that. But we got explosive players. If the run game is there for Miami, Mark Fletcher, I think Jordan Lyle and Gerard Pringle might also have an explosive game. And then we got Malachi Tony. CJ Daniels didn't really do much because there was no passing game. Joshua Moore, JoJo Trader, who did play with Jeremiah Smith in Chaminade Madonna right here in Hollywood, Florida. So there's going to be a real rivalry there. I'm telling you, this is going to be cinema, bro.
It's peak cinema. And again, this is for a lot of Canes fans, kind of the biggest game since their OFO Fiesta Bowl, which a lot of Canes fans remember well. Championship taken away, unfortunately, for the Hurricanes. Yeah. But again, this is a game where Ohio State 9.5 favorites. The line right there, looking at an over-under of 42.5. If you're a betting man, I don't know if I would take the over, man. This is going to be a real tricky one because the over and the reason, Jonko, I said last week about Texas A&M, I was confident about them going into this game. 11-1. Also, you had 30-plus points per game against SEC competition. The Hurricanes just put them to 3. A 30-point average team. I can't imagine what the defense does against Ohio State with, a young sophomore quarterback, a very young receiving corps, as talented as they are, but dealing with some injuries on their own. Like Jeremiah Smith missed a lot of games. Tate missed a few games.
I think it was Jeremiah Smith was a thigh, and then something. And then Carnell Tate was something with his hip, I think.
Yes. So lower body stuff. And again, if they get wrapped up wrong, and I hate to say it because I love to see this whole game happen, healthy as can be, there could be injuries with how physical this team is.
I have a hypothetical for you because you know me. You know I love the hypotheticals. If Miami were to pull it off, right? You know me, I would go crazy. What chances do you give Miami to make it to the Natty if they were to win this game?
Well, so we're looking ahead there. The funny part is because the other two games I was going to talk about from the first round, we might as well just jump into this now because we're talking about hypotheticals. Ole Miss versus Georgia, because Ole Miss blew Tulane out. John Summerall, now a Florida Gator full-time, instead of doing that weird Tulane / Florida logo on his Twitter. What was up with that? I like that, like, he was pushing it out there, but it is what it is. Either way, Ole Miss, Georgia, in the Sugar Bowl. I like Georgia winning that one. Georgia against the Canes. That's a 50. I like to say a toss-up because I don't think Stockton is a all-time quarterback.
I said the same thing yesterday.
Not even this playoff field. Like, I like Nate Moore. Like, I like Ty Simpson. I like Mendoza. I like Carson Beck. And I like saying a lot of guys over him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, offensively, I think It's going to be more of a toss-up. Defensively, though, this is going to be a real matchup. Like, if you saw that Texas A&M game and said, like, where's the offense? Well, guess what, buddy? You're about to see a whole lot of defense again. If that was the case, if the Canes would go against Georgia, it's not crazy to say they wouldn't be able to win that game in the Fiesta Bowl. It's not crazy to say the Canes can move on to the national championship in Miami.
I already told multiple friends that if Miami, please, if we were to make it, I am putting however much money I have to for that ticket, and you can book it. I'll be at that game.
You should.
I will be at that game. No, there's no should. No, I will be. I'll have to take out a loan, whatever I have to do. I'll do it. I'm gonna be at that game. When is the next time Miami's gonna play in Miami for the Natty?
Yeah. Again, that being January 16th at Hard Rock Stadium. So the Canes could make it on that side of the bracket, but I do want to talk about the other side of the bracket. SMU, Oregon blowing James Madison out of the water. And actually, I want your take on this because this has been a big conversation with the ACC championship being the Duke Blue Devils. You had two group of four teams being the top conference winners in this bracket. A lot of people now discussing about, well, why not just get the top 12 teams? Why not, for the playoffs, why even include, like, why is there a guarantee clincher for these group of four or whatever teams? Look, if 11-1 JMU, or there's going to be, out of 100 times, there might be like 20 upsets for the little guy in the first round playoff scenario. Okay. We've seen it many times in college football. It's one of the best reasons to watch college football because you never know what can happen any Saturday. But now people are like, well, should we change it? So, John, I want your opinion on this. Obviously, Oregon was going to win that one, most likely. Mm-hmm. But should we punish a group of four teams and be like, you guys should probably never make the playoffs?
I'm more of, I think the group of five teams should have their own playoff. I don't think, because I think the committee's already established that the college football playoff is about money, viewership, and entertainment. I think we can all establish that. I don't know what value of entertainment you're giving for Tulane and JMU in the college football playoff when you left out Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Texas, BYU. Like, I feel like I agree with Daniel yesterday that Notre Dame would have been a great matchup. Texas would have been nice with Arch Manning there. That's viewership. Vanderbilt with Diego Pavia and how he handled the Heisman situation. I don't know why. I just think it's just another bye week. You're giving a team a bye week that didn't get a bye week.
Yeah.
Why should Miami have to play Texas A&M? Oh, but Ole Miss have to play Tulane. Like, is that a joke?
Yeah, but would you also make the argument, though, because let's say, like, the NBA playoffs or whatever, right? Like, number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. Is it more of a reward? Because you look at, like, let's say, like, you're, like, number 5, right? And you're like, man, I didn't get the first round bye, and now I have to go against, like, let's say in this hypothetical BYU or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Competitive team, obviously a playoff contention team that was on the brink. Would that make it more of like, those first round teams will be so unlikely to even get to a championship? Because we saw Ohio State blow out Tennessee from the first round and get to a championship last year. You know what I mean? So it's possible. But now you have a scenario of, there's one side of the bracket that straight up can't go without like missing a step. And the other side is like, okay, easy matchup first round. Should that side of the bracket, I mean, is it kind of unfair to be like, great season, here's an easy matchup in the first round? Is that more like, I would say like similar to the NBA? If you're a number 1 seed, you should have easy first round matchup.
I'm just not a big fan of just including a group of 5 team just for the sake of inclusion. Like, if you're the top 12 team, 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, I think you should make it. Why should a bottom, not even top 25 team just jump everybody and jump you just because for the sake of inclusion? That to me, Brandon, is what I say is a participation trophy.
Yeah.
Sure, you made it, but you didn't do anything. So here's a little medal. Like, congratulations. You just participated against the other guys. Like,
Yeah. But look, I'm a big fan of giving the little man a chance because like JMU, there was a funny if I saw a guy on Twitter that took a train from like DC all the way to Eugene just to see his team play in the college football playoffs. And again, it could be James Madison's only time ever playing the college football playoffs. You know what I mean? So I like that part of it where like it's a small guys, little stories. It's a big like, you are the team in like the group of four or whatever it is. Now, people have talked about another playoff just for those teams. Like let's say like Tulane and Memphis are in the national championship four, but that would still be like Division One. And what do you even call like what makes a group of four a Power Five, especially in today's day and age where like conferences are always changing? Like UCF, like they were what part of the American or something like that, and now they're part of the Big 12 because that's the only way they're really going to get to the title game at this point. So I just thought it was really interesting discussion, but JMU not even close, Tulane not even close in this year's case. Now we have matchups on the other side of the bracket. I talked a bit about Bama, Indiana, the Orange Bowl here in Miami, New Year's Day, Oregon and Texas Tech. Texas Tech, you see a lot of connection, a lot of camaraderie. Best linebacker in the entire league, basically. Now you have that defense. Yes, you have that defense going against Nate Moore, potential NFL prospect quarterback.
Dante Moore.
My apologies. Dante Moore. I like the Ducks in this one. I like the hi-fi wire Dan Lanning going into Miami with this offense. I really like it. I love the run game, what it looked like against JMU. Now, the defense, though, they allowed what? Like a few touchdowns to James Madison that were just kind of like, would that fly against some of these powerhouse teams deep? Is Texas Tech, can we finally say the oil money has struck and say Texas Tech is like a contender? I don't know. I think the Oregon Ducks will get it done, but this is a game where I wouldn't be surprised Texas Tech is like, yeah, we're here now. This is a statement game.
I think Texas Tech is in the similar boat with A&M, where their defense is really good, but their offense is kind of like hit or miss, where you don't really believe in the quarterback. The offense is inconsistent. And if you play another good defense, then it kind of like your offense is kind of like the weakness of your team. I don't know. I was watching that game against BYU. Texas Tech played well defensively, but BYU was able to get down the field a couple times on some explosive plays. I think what's his name? Jacorian Moore for Oregon. I think he's going to be playing, and that's a big weapon for them. If he plays, I think Oregon wins this game just because of just pure talent over Texas Tech. And Dante Moore, I've been hearing things that he might stay one more year in Oregon, which would be crazy if he does that because I think a lot of NFL teams were looking at this guy as a potential first round pick. But I don't know, man. It's because I can also see Dante Moore not being as experienced, and this might be a learning game where I can see Texas Tech winning because of the inexperience of the quarterback. Man, like, can you even tell me who the running back is for Oregon? Because I can't.
Man, well, I mean, I haven't really followed them that closely, to be honest. I would have to get an actual roster out here. But again, their running game, general from RB1, RB2, was good throughout the year. And again, their only major loss is against Indiana. 10 points, obviously, on their field in the Austin Stadium, but they haven't looked weak against big-time opponents, or let alone big-time playing stages, especially in the Big Ten. So I think when you look at Oregon, though, it's definitely a team to threat on. But again, let's just revisit that Saturday, 51-34 over JMU. You look at the box score, and again, talking about that running game, Wayne Knight, 110 yards off 17 carries. Alonzo Barnett, 12 carries, 45 yards. Got a few touchdowns in there, 2 touchdowns through the running game. You had, and again, a game that was basically a blowout. A lot of people sharing the ball, running the ball. Uh, Actually, my apologies. That was James Madison's roster. Apologies for that.
I I'm looking at their schedule for the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Not to hate on Oregon because I love Oregon. I love the Ducks,
Right. Good. Great jerseys.
but they really haven't played anybody. I mean, they played that game against Penn State that still had Jim Franklin. Won that in a crazy ending. I think it was in overtime. They lost to Indiana the week after, but besides that, they went to play number who was ranked at the time Iowa 20, 15th USC, and everybody else is like nobody's.
Yeah, but you wouldn't go out of your way and say like them blowing out Southern Cal because they had a 42-27 win.
Yeah,
You know, winning that game. The Oregon one was kind of a crunch out and on the road. The Penn State one, which I think a lot of people, if you look at Oregon's season, will like circle this game as like a college football changer in a lot of ways because James Franklin gets fired 3 weeks later. Oregon gets jumped into the top 10 spot basically right after this. And then you really look at Oregon as like, man, this team is something. And again, Penn State would later on go on the year, not even basically, getting even close at all. But
terrible.
I'm not going to bash this Oregon team. Like, you look at the schedule and, like, is it really their fault that they didn't have Ohio State on the slate? Is it their fault they didn't have, like, another big-time matchup on the slate? No, this is just the Big Ten and in conference matchups. The Big Ten, they have a few good teams in there. Indiana's obviously one of them. A few of them, a lot of people hyped up, like Illinois, very hyped up, very much hyped up. Wisconsin on a bad year, Minnesota on a bad year. Washington, they were pretty damn good in the first like 8-7 weeks until that Ohio State game, and showed them in the rivalry game in the Apple 26-14, Oregon winning it over the Huskies on the road. Like this Oregon team, I think they have impressive wins. May not be against the top guys, may not be a top 10, whatever, but it's impressive to blow out Southern Cal, a top 15 team in the nation. It's impressive to be able to go out there in a whiteout and beat Penn State on the road as they did. It's impressive to blow out majority of your rivals on the schedule. Also, go out of your way and say there is 1, 2, as I count down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times throughout the season you've scored 40 to 30 more points in a game. That tells you this is a quick offense. This is a scoring offense that can get up and down the field like nothing with, again, as you said before, NFL potential quarterback and more. That's something to look at for Texas Tech. That's a real threat. I think this is one of the best offenses Texas Tech have gone against all year for this team.
In the case that Oregon does win this game, and let's say foreshadowing probably Indiana beats Alabama, they would have to go and play Indiana again in probably what is going to be a neutral site. Oregon played Indiana at Oregon at home and lost 30-20. That's another top defense that they're going to have to go against. I just don't know. I don't think the Oregon Ducks have been tested enough. If I'm going to be truly honest, I don't think they've been tested enough. And that's why this game scares me for them. Because a defense can catch you off guard at any moment. If you don't have the perfect game, like we just saw with Alabama and Oklahoma, if you make one error on a pass, it's going to be a 50-yard pick six. And that flipped the momentum for Alabama, and they never look back. What the? Yeah. Yeah, I know that's always happening to me. I don't know. It's always me. But I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's just that Texas Tech defense and David Bailey are really good, and they can get to the quarterback. I don't know how good the O-line is for Oregon. I'm pretty sure they're decent. I just don't know if they have that like winning mentality when it comes to like the playoff. Like, what is their toughness? Like, what is their motto? I don't understand. Like, we know Mario Cristobal's motto is winning the trenches. What is Dan Lanning's? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, basically Ducks versus them type of thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're more like, like a Nike, let's look nice, flashy offense. I think this team is based on the offense. And for, Texas linebacker, all guy, Jacob Rodriguez,
Oh, he's good too.
he is going to like be able to crunch on that run game. Which again, I apologize because I put down the James Madison people when I was talking about the stats and everything like that from the James Madison Oregon game. The run game, again, that was doing pretty damn good. Jordan Davidson, 90 yards. Daria Hill Jr., 76 with a touchdown. Dante Moore even had a rushing touchdown in that game. Like, they got guys. Like, they really do have guys, receiving wise. Malik Benson, one of the more bigger leaders, number 4 on that Oregon team, 2 touchdowns, 119 yards. Jeremiah McClellan, 83 with a touchdown. Like, the offensive pieces they have, and especially if you look back a few, like maybe like 1 or 2 years, like the wide receiver, quarterback that go from Oregon to NFL, there's a great line of that. Like Tez Johnson could be an example. Like Marcus Mariota, obviously an example of that one. Justin Herbert, who is now a Pro Bowler, which of course we'll talk about at the end of the show. Like the Oregon offense, I'm just saying, like, does Texas Tech hold them, a team that has scored 30 to 40 plus multiple times throughout the year? Would they be held down? I'm not too positive if Texas Tech can do that. Like they beat out teams like BYU by plenty, but I don't think Oregon's any bit close to a BYU style offense. I think that Oregon would have a much more difficult offense to contain. I like the Ducks in that matchup, if that was.
Yeah, I that's what I'm gonna pick. I'm picking Oregon. But the only reason I say this is because I just think Oregon's defense can hold Texas Tech's offense and not the other way around. So just for that simple fact, I just think Oregon's going to win that game just because of the lack of offense for that team, for the Red Raiders, unfortunately. It was a good run.
Great run. Great run. A lot of oil money spilled for that. So
I think they're going to be in that transfer portal for a quarterback, and if they can get one, man, look out for the Red Raiders, bro.
Yeah, I know. And again, transfer portal, a lot of things going down already with that. Already.
Lagway.
Yeah, that'll be another conversation. But again, playoffs going on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So make sure the calendar is changed and your TV channels are stay put on ESPN for that one. I want to talk about Pro Bowl here. We just got an announcement. Pro Bowls down for the AFC, NFC. I want to stick with the AFC side, though, the Miami Dolphins side. So I want to go through the list up and down, and this will be real quick because I know you're going to have a lot to say about the guy that I'm about to mention here. AFC starters in the Pro Bowl for quarterback: Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Drake May, a potential MVP candidate, basically, and New England Patriot as a starter. Wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton.
Zay Flowers?
Yes, Zay Flowers. Okay.
Stop the cap.
Unfortunately, this is not cap. And it's going to get even worse. Way worse. Trust me when I say this.
What the?
So, keep on going down here. In the fullback, Patrick Ricard, also Alec Ingold's an alternative for this one.
Okay.
Brock Bowers, a tight end. Travis Kelce, tight end. Deion Dawkins, tackle from the Bills. Garrett Bowles, Joel Alt, guard. Quinn Ramirez, might be butchering that name. I apologize, from the Broncos. Quentin Nelson from the Colts. Trey Smith, guard, Chiefs. Creed Humphrey. And then at center, which a lot of people talked about Aaron Brewer even be considered about this. Aaron Brewer didn't get close. Not a starter, nor an alternate. Aaron Brewer for the Miami Dolphins, center, Pro Bowl. But Tyler Linderbaum from the Ravens at center. And then last but not least, the running back group. Jonathan Taylor, followed by James Cook, Miami native.
Okay.
And then Devon Achane.
I can respect that.
A Pro Bowler, first time ever for the Miami Dolphins. Like the brightest sign from the whole season of mishaps. So Devon Achane gets his first ever appearance in a Pro Bowl game later on this year. Jonka, I want your thoughts here because again, this is just the offensive side of the AFC. Drake May obviously is the quarterback starting. HN finally gets in there. What's your thoughts?
I mean, shout out to my boy Drake. Drake May. You know, that's my guy right there. He just came off this Sunday night against the Ravens with his first ever 300-yard game in his career in the 2 seasons he's been in. And it was 380. So he almost had a 400-yard game. And when he needed to win that game the most, he did it in comeback fashion. I think he should be leading for MVP, but Matthew Stafford is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Devon Achane, I think he's the best player on your team by far.
Easily. Yep.
And I was asking Blake this yesterday, Brandon, and it was a conversation starter, but I think it's a real question that needs to be asked because let's say if your ownership or your manager staff, new general manager, whatever it is, right? You go and you look at the energy that's coming off of Devon Achane right now, right? And let's say you continue to build the team, whatever, and the team continues to still not really produce anything and you continue to lose, right? Just speculation. If you're Devon Achane, and let's say if you're only about your stats and you just want to keep getting your numbers up and keep getting paid, then I think he stays. But if he wants to win a chip and go to a winning team and a winning culture or whatever, if you're the Dolphins, you trade Achane before he leaves for free.
What I would say to that, it's more of a Mike McDaniel question because as long as Mike McDaniel is the head coach of this Dolphins team, he is going to use Achane 95% of the time. And if Mike McDaniel, the new GM, are just like, hey, we're planning to trade this guy, we get some good draft capital, he doesn't want to be here, I'm pretty sure Mike McDaniel will be the first one to be like, wait, no. Let him stay. Because there's no way my job is safe if Devon Achane is gone. That I see as the guarantee.
I mean, like in the case, like I think he's on his second-year deal, right? Or second or third year of his rookie deal.
Yep.
Once his contract is almost up, that last year of his contract, and let's say the rumors are going around that he's probably going to leave or maybe test the market before he officially becomes a free agent, and you're getting the feeling where you think he's going to leave. I think the Dolphins should trade him before he walks away for free and not get any capital for him.
But as a running back in the NFL, because this was the exact same thing we had a conversation about Saquon Barkley. Barkley willing to go back to the Giants if he got paid the right amount. And the Giants weren't willing to do that, and they traded him to a contender where he won on a division rival team. I see this as the exact same scenario. Devon Achane, I feel like he's on a team that he's winning a lot. He's in Miami. He's a franchise cornerstone player at this
I don't
moment.
know about winning a lot. I don't know about winning.
Well, I'll put it like this. He's getting reps a lot. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
And, you pay Raheem Mostert all this money, You pay Tua all this money. And I get you don't have a lot to, wiggle around. But what would be the excuse to not pay Achane a lot of this money,
Tua.
So, and again, that depends because before anybody would move on from Achane, you would have to see how the Dolphins move on from, let's say, Tua, or let's say move on hypothetically from Tyreek Hill and all these different numbers. I see it as the same position. I don't see Achane being like, I want to contend right now. Send me the X amount of team. Send me the Y team. Like, and in today's NFL, how many true contenders can we say are out there legitimately? Like, everyone saw the Baltimore Ravens were like the team. People said the Bills were the team. That's no longer. The Chiefs are not even in a playoff spot right now. They're bound to move to Kansas basically in the next decade. Like, NFL changes within a snap, Anything can happen. The Dolphins was a contender 2 years ago. So I just don't see that in today's NFL, Now, if he was like so much older, like let's say this man was like in his 30s or bound to make his 30s, I can say that because we're looking at a guy that's like he needs a win right now. Devon has plenty of years. Get your money right. Figure it out. And Miami, trust me, with Mike McDaniels as the offensive play caller, will go out of their way to keep him in any way possible, money wise, whatever it is.
I'm looking right here at his contract. Next year will be his final year of the contract. He'll be making 1.7 million, and his dead cap would be 230,000. In 2027, so the season after next season, he'll be an unrestricted free agent. He'll be 26 at that point.
Yes.
His next contract would probably end by the time he hits 30.
That's when he
That's
would go.
prime.
Yeah. Prime at 30?
No. I mean, like that. Those 4 years is going to be his prime.
Yes.
Does he want to spend his prime on the Dolphins and probably not win a chip?
Hey, we've seen it plenty of times in the NFL.
I know. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know
Yeah.
what his philosophy is. If he just wants to get paid, stay in Miami and enjoy your life. Miami's great.
Yeah.
But if you want to win, no shame to the Dolphins at all. I honestly prefer anywhere else. I think him in Green Bay would be great.
Is Green Bay even a contender this year?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Look, that's what. Look, I'm just trying to get to the point where like there's no real contender out there. I mean, hell, if you told me that the Bears were going to be like a 10 double-digit win team, or the Pats were going to be in the same boat,
hey, I'm getting rid of Ramondre Stevenson possibly. I'll take HN right now.
who wouldn't take HN right now? You know, who wouldn't?
Oh my god, or O-line with HN would be disgusting, but I don't think that's gonna happen. No, that's a like.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a Giants move, a New York Giants move to go to in division to do a trade like that. But yeah, I'm telling you though, for Devon, congrats on the Pro Bowl. Hopefully more as a Dolphin. Though I think the biggest thing about this Pro Bowl is the snubs. Like a lot of them for the Dolphins, a whole lot of them for the Dolphins.
I have one.
Go ahead.
His name is Marcus Jones. He's our cornerback. I don't understand why he wasn't in the Pro Bowl. The guy is the only person in the NFL to have an offensive, defensive, and special teams touchdown in the NFL this season. He's doing everything. Bro, the guy is phenomenal. How do you not give it to him? At least one. Bro, I'm at a loss for words, bro. That Zay Flowers thing you said earlier, bro, has me like in a loop right now. How
Makes
can
no
you possibly
sense.
give Zay Flowers over Stephon Diggs? What's his name? Is Puka Nacua there?
Well, that's NFC.
Oh, NFC.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs. Who else do we got? I mean, T. Higgins is not bad either.
Yeah, T. Higgins, again, horrible year for the Bengals, though.
Yeah,
that's 5-win season so far. But again, I mean, the fact also stands, though, not having a top 5 receiver in the AFC. Like, it's kind of a down year for him, and he made the Pro Bowl. Zay Flowers, you know?
DK?
So, that's a borderline. I see that as a borderline because I was watching the Steelers-Lions game, and I've watched Monday Night Football, and I feel like Gainwell has been more of a threat.
Bro, lately he's been cooking.
He's been cooking. Now, that's a guy that I would see out of anybody in the Pittsburgh squad to make the Pro Bowl offensively. But yeah, there is a few snubs out there, huge snubs. And some of them, I think the biggest ones are on the Miami Dolphins side of things. A lot of alternates for the Pro Bowl out of Miami, though, this season. Alec Ingle, I said before, was the fullback one. Minkah Fitzpatrick, the third alternate at safety. Jalen Waddle getting, the credit he deserves. Tyreek Hill's gone. He's still having 100-plus 80-yard games. He is the third alternate wide receiver. The one I just don't understand. You lead the NFL in tackles. Yes, you lead the NFL in tackles. You have, a sack throughout the year. You averaged like double-digit to 8 tackles per game. You are the sole captain and probably the best defensive player on a team where you have a defensive tackle getting paid multiple of millions of dollars. like one of the. I can't even tell what Zach Sealer's contract is, and he's not even considered a Pro Bowler by any means.
I can tell you.
For Jordan Brooks, 93 stolen tackles, 3.5 sacks so far this season. He can have 100 tackle year this season, and he's an alternate. The guys that are in his place right now at linebacker on the defensive side, as I look into the names, and great inside linebacker Brooks is. Some of these guys are outside linebackers, but the inside linebacker, Azeez Al-Shahir from the Texans, Raekwon Smith, who's decent, and the guy from the Chargers, I apologize, I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Tuli Tupulotu. Not even pure inside linebackers. And their stats, some of them don't even have more than 50 tackles this season. Like the fact that this man Brooks has 90, not even at the end of the year, is insane. And to have him as an alternate, what was the designing vote? I mean, I get it's fan vote half of the time. But like when Zaza Pachulia was nearly an NBA starter in the All-Star game because of fan vote, the NBA was still like, we're not doing that. Roger Goodell didn't step in. You know, like, man, Brooks, how the hell is Brooks not a starting? Like, why do people not watching that? You know, it's insane to me. It's insanity.
I'm having it right here. Is it for Zach Sealer? He has a potential out in 2027 for a 2-year, $33 million. But then for 2027 to 2029, he'll be making $20 to $22 million per year. Then he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2030. Damn.
I was making the point about Brooks. The Sealer thing was just a snap, but that makes me.
I got you.
No, you don't have to. Because it'll probably be a year that Brooks won't even come back as a Dolphin, which kind of sucks. But
yeah,
the money game is terrible in Miami. Whoever that new GM is, God bless. You know, or they go with this champ guy still. But Jonka, I mean, final thoughts for the Pro Bowl itself. You know, I didn't really go into the NFC roster because I'm, you know, sticking strictly Miami. Big time Snubs. If you want, I can go to the NFC real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. If I see you light up, I'll let you go on it. But at quarterback for the NFC, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold. I don't think there's a lot of people discussing, you know, negative about that. Wide receiver, Puka, George Pickens, which I love, and Jackson Smith, Najabi or Najaba, or whatever. Najigba. Jackson Smith. Followed by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Mary Gibbs at running back. I thought that was kind of like a 50-50. He's been having a few bad games. Just a few.
That's because Dan Campbell doesn't know to sit down Montgomery when you have to, bro. The guy, I don't know why they split carries. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, the Sonic and whatever thing is getting too old for me. Bijan Robinson on the Falcons, definitely deserving for that one. I think it's his first one. Christian McCaffrey back at it. Fullback Kyle. His name always gets me, dude. From the 49ers. Fullback? Yeah, for fullback. Kyle.
Juszczyk?
Juszczyk. There we go. That you try to read some of these names, and it's like, that's not how you say it. Kind of a shocker to me. Trey McBride from the Cardinals.
I'm not a shocker. He's number one.
You say so at the NFC?
He's number one tight end in the league.
Damn. I thought George Kittle or something like that. But speaking of which, George Kittle right behind him, tight end.
He's good too.
Yeah. The Lions tackle, Tristan Wirfs from the Buccaneers, Trent Williams from the Niners, Tyler Smith guard, Cowboys guard, Joe Thunley, Chris Lindstrom, Drew Dahlman is the center, followed by Cam Jurgens from the Eagles. Again, the O-line, you know, there's so many O-lines that can go out there. On defense, Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end. Micah Parsons, who is going to be injured, so he'll be replaced by an alternate. DeMarcus Lawrence, somehow still making names out there for the Seahawks. Jalen Carter, D-line, Eagles, followed by Leonard Williams, also another Seahawk. Quinn Williams, former Jet, now Cowboy.
Yeah.
Making it. I thought it was pretty cool for the Pro Bowl. I do like this outside linebacker room. Brian Burns, Jared Verse, and Byron Young, all Los Angeles Rams. All Ram linebackers in NFC. I thought it was really cool. Well, besides Burns, Giants. Either way, Verse and Young were the Rams one. Jack Campbell, he might be dealing with some injuries, so he might not be there. Zach Bond from the Eagles, old dude. J.C. Horn, I thought this was one that was very due. Cornerback from the Panthers. Devon Witherspoon. Cooper DeJean from the Eagles. What is he, like 22, 23 years old? Making a Pro Bowl?
Yeah, he just entered last year. Second-year guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done a lot this year, but I could be wrong.
Hey, again, a lot of it fan vote. A lot of the Gene fans out there. Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from the Eagles. Free safety, Kevin Byard, and followed by Anton Winfield Jr., Mr. for the Buccaneers, and Budda Baker for the Cardinals. I feel bad for Baker every single time I look at the fact that he's still in the Cardinals. That guy should be on a better team. But also, if you want to do special teams, because I know there's a lot of special team people, Brandon Aubrey obviously make it. Tress Way from the Commanders obviously make it. Kick returner Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid Shaheed over Marcus. No, it's right. That's right.
NFC. But then again, the AFC one, it might get you a little bit wilding out. Lou Guilford, special teamer for the 49ers, followed by John Weeks, long snapper. The AFC special teams. Hear this. Dicker the kicker, Cameron Dicker, has made it for the kicker of the Chargers. Jordan Stout, punter for the Ravens. Now, this is the kick returner. Any guesses?
Kick returner for the AFC. I'm trying to think. I mean, best kick returner to me, honestly, is my boy Marcus Jones, but
well, you're very off.
Yeah, I know he didn't make it. Trying to think.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
This guy is a rookie.
Rookie?
Shamir DK for the Tennessee Titans is
okay.
For the Titans.
Damn, but punt returner? Maybe.
Well, kick returner, punt returner, you know.
He's a Gator guy, so shout out to him. I mean,
shout out to the Gators. There we go. A little chop on cam. Close up.
I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't think he's special teams though. My boy has two kickoff returns, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, but again, congrats to him, Ben Skowronek, special teamer from the Steelers, by Ross Matisic, long snapper for the Jaguars. So that's all the special team guys and overall guys, NFC, AFC for the Pro Bowl. That will be after the main bulk of the playoffs going the week before the Super Bowl. So it'll be a long time till we see these guys. Hopefully Jordan Brooks finds a way as starting, because he should be the starter in that. But that is going to do it for Sidelines this week. I want to thank you guys again for joining in. And we try to do this every single Tuesday. We're scheduled a little bit weird, so this might be at noon. This might be kind of late. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe out there.
Support the troops.